Thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate seeing everyone here. This has been a great day thus far, and this is a topic that I hold near and dear to my heart. My name is Rachel Mason. I am the Associate Director of First Year Recruitment here at UMass Amherst. I am also an unapologetically enthusiastic alum. So if you haven't picked up on it yet, lots of love for this university, and just really excited to share with you the resources and opportunities that are here on this world-class campus nestled in the Commonwealth that we are so incredibly proud of. So first off, welcome to Beyond Business. This is a panel discussion, a conversation, really exploring the different pathways and opportunities for our students who are interested in pursuing a career in business. Few little housekeeping items. First off, if you have not yet had a chance to experience our #1 dining at UMass Amherst, I encourage you to do so. If you want to have fun, if you haven't gone on a tour yet, or if you see any of our students, ask them what their favorite dining hall is. Guarantee you, you're going to get lots of opinions. Everyone feels very strongly about it. Also, if you have not yet stopped by the bookstore, definitely want to encourage you to pick up some of that UMass gear. Also, finally, we really do want your feedback about the day. So at the end of the event, you're going to receive a survey. We'd love to hear your feedback on that. I'm really excited to have my panel here with me today to discuss this amazing topic. First, we have Kelly Gray, who is here with us from the School of Social and Behavioral Sciences. Thank you so much for being here. Nancy Noble is with us from the College of Humanities and Fine Arts. Melissa Baker is here with us from the Eisenberg School of Business Management, representing our hotel tourism management as well. And finally, Jim, down there at the end, our student, who's really going to be able to bring in his experience and insight to being a student here. So, on the road, I have a lot of conversations with students, right? We have a lot of discussions, and I hear their desire and their stress around the application process. And as much as we try and live in the moment, there's also that pressure, right, to make the right choice, to put us on that career path that we're really interested in pursuing, and not wanting to make a misstep in terms of that selection. And I see students really kind of grappling with that. Business, of course, is really popular right now. I get a lot of questions about that students talk about it, but may not know exactly what that means and where that's going to lead them. So, for example, I will talk to a student who talks about marketing, right? And we kind of drill down into what their interests are. And it turns out that what they're really interested in is social media and content development as it relates to marketing. And so as we are talking to them and guiding them on their path, we realize that there's other directions than through that specific marketing major. And I know, Kelly, you probably had students that fall along that. How would you advise them as they're looking at classes and majors?
Absolutely, that is a great question, and I'm also going to just state that if I don't fall out of this chair, this panel is a success. I'm like ready to fall out here. Okay, so this is a great question, and I work very closely with the College of Social Behavioral Sciences exploratory track. So I often have students come in and say, I'm trying to find the right major for me. I'm interested in business. My next question is often, well, what aspect of business? And sometimes students don't know. They just know that that's a field they want to go into. And sometimes they have questions exactly like you said about marketing or advertising. And when we really drill down, what it turns out is, yes, they have some interest in marketing and advertising, but they also have interest in content creation. And just ultimately using good communication, both oral and written, to make an impact in the business world. So usually I have a couple of directions that I point them in. So one is our communication major. The communication is a really broad major that focuses on all aspects of communication, and many of our students go into business or other public relations type fields. The other one is that I point students into the journalism public relations concentration. So journalism as a field is not necessarily what it was 10, 20 years ago. It's really expanded. So public relations is a growing field in the United States. It's really about strategic communication. So media relations, social media content creation, web design and content creation for websites. So many of our students have that kind of creative lens that they want to bring into the business field. So I love the public relations track in journalism. There's a great introduction class that I recommend that students take. And many of the students that take that then go on and declare that as a major. So one of the things that I would really suggest to all of you is that when you hear these different majors, whether they're in my college or one of the other colleges, drill down a little bit. Look at the types of classes they're going to be taking. Look at student profiles, because I think that you're going to find that there's a lot more diversity and ways to go. I did have a conversation with the director of the public relations program before coming here today, and she let me know that there's really great job placement for that group. Many of them go and work for public relations type firms or agency, like Back Bay Communication and the Castle Group, but others go on and do what they call in-house PR for companies like Lululemon, BIC, different healthcare companies. So there's a lot of great options when you're kind of thinking about that creative side of the business world.
And in terms of resources on campus, if students are working within your school or college, do you have access to employers that may have come through a career center in another school or college, or internships and co-ops?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think I'm going to kind of speak for all of us. We all have career and professional development offices within our schools and colleges. In my college, we have 4 career advisors. We also have a platform called Handshake that we all use, where lots of our alums post internships that students can then apply and get involved. So there's a lot of opportunity for alumni connections, for internship opportunities, and for meeting with career advisors. And I think every single college is going to strongly suggest that you get yourself connected with those professionals to help you along the way.
Oh, excellent, wonderful. You know, I also have experienced and hear a lot, students have ideas, I like to call them the myths and the facts, right, about the entire application process. And one of the very common myths that I encounter is that if a student doesn't really know what they want to major in or where they're going, excuse me, that we somehow hold that against them in the application process. And I can tell you, 23 years in higher ed admissions, and actually my colleagues and I, excuse me, still look forward to the reading process, reading applications. We had 50,000 applications last year. It takes us about 5 months to read all those apps. This is the perfect time of year. The leaves are falling, you hear comfy, you sit down, you read your applications. Though we're somehow going to hold that against the student if they are interested in applying undecided. And what you're going to hear first, and I want you to walk away knowing, is that not knowing exactly which major is absolutely fine. It's completely valid. We respect it, and students are absolutely admitted to that. It will get a little confusing in our conversations maybe when you hear the word exploratory track. Exploratory track is the UMass way of calling undecided, right? And when you're looking at the application on the Common App, we like to make things even more complicated because it actually does list it as undecided, but they're exchangeable in terms of the words exploratory track, undecided, is that you're probably not truly undecided. You have some idea of where you're interested in going, whether that be the College of Natural Sciences, Behavioral Sciences, College of Education, for example. You apply to that undecided plus exploratory track within that school or college. So as you're going through the entire process, just know that we absolutely value that choice as you're making your selection. And Nancy, I believe that Humanities and Fine Arts actually has the highest percentage of students who apply to the exploratory track.
Indeed, this fall, the incoming first year class this fall, College of Humanities and Fine Arts, HFA, we have the largest group of exploratory track students on campus. And I want to state that that's probably, we all have superb, dedicated exploratory track advisors in the college that offer the exploratory track. I know my team in HFA, they truly are extraordinary advisors who they know every major on this campus extremely well. So if you come in not decided, you're thinking maybe about a major in my college, English, in communication, in Kelly's college, you're not sure. Our advisors can help you, guide you on the path to determining your major as quickly as you feel ready to declare. Our goal is to help you graduate on a timely basis when you want to graduate. And so we'll do that through course advising, through intensive one-on-one advising, through group advising. We'll help you find a major for you. And I do want to mention in my college, a lot of exploratory track students who say, I feel something of an affinity for the College of Humanities and Fine Arts. They tell me every summer when I meet with them when they're signing up for their first classes, I want to work on my writing. I want to work on my communication skills. And that's something that businesses value. My majors don't want to, they're not math majors, they don't want to become accountants, but they want to work on communicating effectively and powerfully to the corporate world and beyond. And so our students may major in English. Many of my students in my college actually have a major in communication and English. If they want to go into marketing, they think about the visual aspect of marketing as well. So they might be art majors, art minors. We put together a variety of options for them so that they figure out the best set of courses. It might be a major, a double major, minors. We figure out what the best course path is for them in conjunction with internship, what we call experiential learning opportunities. So, for instance, I'm thinking about one student who said, I'm exploratory track, and there are two things. I want to work in New York City when I graduate, and I want to experience the corporate world when I graduate. And she did want to work on her communication skills. She's a superb communicator. She majored in English. She also finished my college's professional writing and technical communication certificate, which is a 5-course certificate, which has a pretty extraordinary placement rate for the students who complete the certificate. She graduated immediately with a job at Bloomberg Finance. So, as I said, we help students figure out the best path in terms of coursework as well as experiential learning. She did a series of internships that helped her find her path. Another student, exploratory track, came in. Actually, she thought maybe she wanted the College of Education, K through 12 education. That didn't turn out to be the path she chose. She stayed in the College of Humanities and Fine Arts. She completed a minor in education, so when we think about it, she's focusing on her people skills, working with diverse groups of folks in different settings. She majored in art history. That's why I teach art history. She majored in art history, and I think, what does that have to do with business? In art history, we learn how to read the visual world, how to interpret it. So think about it. She's majoring in education, learning how to work with diverse folks, educating diverse folks. And she's learning how, in art history, we study paintings, we study depictions of people. She's learning how to read visual cues. You're looking at me now, I'm reading your faces, I'm reading your body positions, this is what we do. So she's acquiring what are often called people skills or soft skills. I'm looking at her, where she interned, I have it right here. She worked for the Fan Services Kids Crew, Boston Red Sox. She tried out a path that didn't work. She did a summer internship that really focused on K through 12 education, realized that wasn't the path for her. That's part of exploring and figuring out what you want to be when you leave UMass to try some things that maybe don't work out. And then she was the merchandise manager for the UMass marching band for 2 years. That's entrepreneurial skills, like you wouldn't believe. That's running a small business here on campus. So she put all of that together and immediately on graduation joined John Hancock in Boston as at first a trainer, and now she's moved on to client relations. Again, putting together people skills and putting together everything she acquired a career at UMass. As I said, coursework, experience, learning, it all came together for her.
Well, such wonderful stories. And that's what I love about UMass, and I like to say so often, is that not only can you really dive into what your interests are, but you can discover new ones and how they are interconnected. And the great part about the university is students have the opportunity to explore, identify, change their major, double major, minor, and at the same time have the access to so many incredible resources and connections, not only within the research world in terms of scientific exploration, but also in terms of internships and co-ops. So taking that experiential learning and really using it to make informed next steps. A topic of conversation that's come up a lot recently is the increased popularity of the Eisenberg School of Business Management. You may have heard about this. And also the word is getting out that it is competitive, or at least many of its majors are. And the perception is that it's pretty much impossible to get into all of the Eisenberg majors. And I know that that is not the case, but I think that hearing from you, Melissa, might be more compelling.
Yes, so my name is Melissa Baker. I'm the department chair for the Hospitality and Tourism Management Department. So we are officially housed in the Eisenberg School of Management. So the first thing is that I want to make sure everyone understands is that you are taking, when you join, Eisenberg has 7 majors, 5 are within the BBA, and then 2 are within Bachelor's of Science. That's Hospitality and Tourism Management and Sport Management. Those 2 programs have their own admissions criteria, but you take the exact same core classes that all of the Eisenberg students take. So you are part of the business school. You could be part of all of the same clubs, but we just have a little bit of a different focus. And in particular with hospitality and tourism management, one of the things that I hear from a lot of high schoolers and parents is like, oh, well, I don't want to work in a hotel, so I'm not interested in hospitality and tourism management. So I'm going to dispel that myth for you first and foremost. The largest industry in the entire world is hospitality and tourism management. We employ 10% of the global workforce, and we account for 11% of the global GDP. And so what that means is that hospitality and tourism management gives you possibilities. Anything you can dream of, anything you think you want to do, that's where we live. Think about your favorite memories that you've ever had so far in your life, right? Both the parents and the students. What are your favorite things that you've done? Is it an event that you were celebrating with your family? Is it an amazing dinner that you were able to have? Is it a trip that you took? Is it just connecting one-on-one, right? All of these things, we are the makers of your favorite memories. And so that's what I want everyone to kind of think about this world. And in particular, our department, again, we focus very much on the experiential learning component. So if we go back to the previous slide just for a second, we have all of these different things, all of these amazing clubs where we go and experience business. So we go to different hotels and understand how those businesses are run, understand the customer experience behind it, understand how you manage a team and a diverse global workforce. So we use a lot of those communication skills. Understand how we're able to use customer and employee psychology, right, in managing different people. We manage those huge budgets for whatever those businesses are. So I think that in a lot of ways, hospitality and tourism management is the best liberal arts education you can actually get. Because you're learning about psychology and sociology, and you get to tie in a lot of that art and the atmosphere. We look at the math piece and the accounting and the finance, the creativity and the marketing. And really what we focus on is delivering, right, outstanding service. So no matter where you go, are you getting that great service and that great customer relationship management, or are we not getting that? And we want you to be the leaders that are creating that. And we have a lot of short-term study abroad programs. The picture there in the middle is actually one of our short-term study abroad programs that we offer service leadership in South Africa. So we actually go and do a lot of community service. We have a computer literacy program there. We have a business in Italy where we do 2 weeks in Italy and you learn all about behind-the-scenes business. And we have a 2-week culture and tourism management in Europe that we do in May. So again, all of these different possibilities to see what you love. And then, if we look at really kind of the traditional sector, yes, this is probably more where you think in general that we are in. If you want to go to the next slide, the hotels, the food service, all of the event management, concerts, sporting events, right? Weddings, all of those are the things that we help create. Casinos, airlines, but more and more in 2023, hospitality and tourism management is more than that. All of the sales and the marketing, the social media, the communication, the customer relationship management, service and customer experience, the revenue management, all of those pieces are things that we do now too. So that's what I want everyone to kind of think about is all of these different options that you have here, how does that tie into the things you think you might want to do and what the possibilities could be for you. The best part about hospitality and tourism management is since we are the largest industry in the world, you can go anywhere and be anything and do anything. If you want to be an entrepreneur and start your own business, we have those alumni. If you want to work in a big city for a big corporation, we can help make that happen, right? All of these different things, we're able to assist you. And, we're hospitality, so we actually love people, we invest in who you are, and we want you to be highly successful.
I actually love the idea of the welcomingness. In terms of the Eisenberg School of Business Management majors, the first 5 you cannot transfer into internally, but hospitality you absolutely can transfer into internally. So if you start off in one major and decide that, oh, you know what, I think I want to also explore this as well, that possibility of double majoring, that would be a great opportunity as well. So I hope you walk away from this feeling as though there are a lot of options and you don't have to commit at this time. Right? You have the opportunity to really, again, explore and develop what that path is going to look like for you individually. And I'd like to actually now turn it over to Jim and talk a little bit about your experience. First, a little kind of background about yourself, where you're from, what your majoring is.
Hi everyone, I'm Jabril, or Jibs. I'm a junior in sport management and film studies double major from Jersey, so North Jersey, right near George Washington Bridge. And initially, I wasn't even going to be a sport management major. There, and look at me. Initially, I wasn't even going to be a sport management major. I wanted to, when I was in high school, I wanted to go into fashion design, which is totally a different aspect and something that was more in my family's area. But then I reached out to UMass and I started becoming interested in sport management, and I played sports in high school, and I reached out to the head of the department of the sport management, McCormick Sport Management Career Department, and he was like, I'm not the guy to talk to. And I was like, oh, cool. So then he directed me to someone else who was the undergraduate programming director, and ever since then, they connected with me. I like the environment, I like the emphasis on networking, a lot about who you know, not what you know, more so, which is exciting, making sure you're connected to the right people. So, some of the things I've done. Oh, should I talk about that now?
You can absolutely.
Oh, lovely. So, I've done a bit for a while now. I work with the Celtics in corporate partnerships and business development. Between you and I in this group, I'm not a big Celtics fan, frankly, and my boss doesn't know that, so keep it between us. I'm a Nets fan since I'm from Jersey. But I do corporate partnerships, so I get to go on the court, I get to meet the C-suite, I get to talk about everything business related, which is exciting. I do research for ESPN, so I get to go through their articles and see if they're biased towards race, gender, ethnicity, background, country of origin, different things like that. So I get to do a lot of research, a lot of hands-on work. And it's nice because I think a misconception is that all research is via STEM, which really isn't the case. I do research in business, which is exciting. And for a company like ESPN, I can't complain at all. And then the past summer, I did work with the Detroit Pistons, which is an NBA team. They called it like the Future Sales Star program. And so I got to learn about sales, and then we had a sales competition at the end of the summer. And I was stressed. Let me tell you, sales is difficult sometimes. Being told no is not the easiest thing in the world. But I practiced. I did pretty well. And they offered me like a position when I graduated for an interview, which was super exciting. And then lastly, I worked for the Harvard Yard So if anyone's from Connecticut, I worked for the Yard this past summer, which is super exciting as well. And those all great experiences. I think these are all products of networking and connecting with people, connecting with your professors. Something that when I went into UMass that I was big on was not feeling like any other kid in a sea full of students, whether it's in your major, your class, or the school at large. So connecting with your professors, something that I did before I came here, like I said, I reached out to all the professors, so when I came on campus, I didn't feel like I was just lost in the sauce about what was going on at UMass. And I feel like my resume is a product of that, so I always love talking about what I'm doing.
Would you say your experience is unique among UMass students? Because of course it got you up here, and this is incredible. I feel like underaccomplished.
Oh, never that.
I want to explore new opportunities. But would you say that your fellow students are also having a diverse experience?
Oh yeah, I've had friends that do all sorts of different things, and I think my experience is unique, but everyone else's experience is unique as well to them. So I have a friend who's in sport management. She worked for the NHL this past summer in New York. My friend Eli, he'll be here in this position next week. He worked for the A's in California, which was super exciting. So I think each experience is unique in its own way, but it's similar in the fact that they get to try new things, do things that are specific to them, and do things that they feel like will be beneficial for their future. And UMass has a lot of opportunities to do things. I like to tell people, if you feel like you're bored or you're not getting the most out of it, you should try to look a little harder, because there's so many things that you can do. There's so many opportunities. For example, my internship director at the sport management department, she sends out a weekly email every Monday of all the opportunities for careers, internships, job opportunities, and then once you apply, you reach out to her and she'll connect you to someone there, so you have a bit of a leg up. So a lot of opportunities to succeed post-graduation. You feel supported through your 4 years and beyond.
Fantastic, wonderful. Well, we have some time left for some questions. I'd love to kind of open it up if anyone has a specific question for either of our panelists regarding opportunities in business. All right. I know you're all please.
Pure curiosity. I was always told that the hardest thing would be people telling me about sales, so I was wondering what you medically said that it wasn't.
This sounds like a question for Jibs. The question is, how do you manage no?
How do I manage no? What my mom told me before I even applied to college was the worst thing that someone can say is no. And I know that's kind of redundant, but I think the big thing is that realize you can't take it personal, and the more times someone says no to you, that time that someone says yes is going to be more meaningful than all the other no's combined. So, you can knock on, like, if you're a door-to-door salesman, for example, you can knock on 99 doors, but once that one door opens, that'll be beneficial for you. So it's difficult. I think there's experiences all over. UMass doesn't have to be in business that you can understand sales and sales program. For example, as a tour guide, I'm a head tour guide, so some of the other tour guides I have them pitch being a tour guide to other students and have them market it, which is a form of sales in itself. And getting them to do it initially was rough, because a lot of students in business don't want to be told no. But I got them to do it, and as the days went on, it's more gratifying seeing the faces of people who do want to interact with you. So I think it's just taking more pride in the people that do say yes and not taking the no's to heart. It's a great question, though.
Yeah, and I'll add on to that. I think what's really important too is there's so many ways to get to yes, right? I think sometimes we think that there's like one path that we have to go to, right? If I want to go into marketing, I have to do the BBA in marketing in Eisenberg. But you just heard there's so many different ways and so many pieces, right? So we can find different ways and take the road a little bit less traveled and find ways to create that dynamic combination for you. If that is doing a double major, right, in communication and hospitality, or doing a double major in hospitality and sport, or doing journalism, communication, whatever that looks like for you, there's a lot of ways to kind of get to yes. And it doesn't always have to be one straight line, but I think you said it beautifully, right, in terms of it makes it all the more sweet when you're able to really figure that out.
Well, I have a question, both for Kelly. Oh, yes, oh, sorry. Yes, please.
If you apply early to like the School of Business for early action, and then do not get accepted to that School of Business, do you find out then if you get accepted into the regular school, or do you get put into a regular enrollment?
That's a good question. So this is in regards to your application and when you get notified. So if a student applies, you have to choose an intended major, whether that be a specific major or the undecided exploratory track. You also have the opportunity to apply to an alternate major, which you considered at that time. So the notification you would get would be for both decisions Absolutely. And for early action, we're looking at the end of January for decisions. For regular decision, we're looking at March for those decisions. Thank you. Great question. Yes, please.
If you have an engineering major and what opportunities you have?
So, yeah, please, absolutely.
I mean, certainly you can take some of the Eisenberg classes. There is a possibility, although it's very popular to do a business minor, but one of the things that we have that's incredibly popular is what we call our +1 programs. So for example, if you do engineering for 4 years and then you want to do a +1 in, say, business analytics, right, you're able to do some of our +1 business programs to then also get a master's in one of those areas as well. So that can help out. But again, there's lots of possibilities, and you can do a double major, right? Maybe in engineering or hospitality or sport, right? That allows you a little bit more of that flexibility. You're taking, again, the same exact core business courses. That the BBA is a little bit different criteria, but sport and hospitality, because they're bachelors of sciences, BS degrees, they have their own criteria to get into. But again, you're part of Eisenberg, but you also have that specialty, possibility focus.
So I was going to ask both you, Kelly and Nancy, in regards to your schools and colleges, is there a particular major or minor certificate that you think doesn't get the love and attention from students that it deserves? It's something you want to highlight and bring to the forefront of the conversation.
Yeah, I can start. I mean, I'm going to guess that answer all of them isn't acceptable. I think, I'm going to echo what everybody has been saying here, which is that there are lots of roads to the end, right? So I think one of the questions you want to ask yourself is, what is it that you actually want to study? And then what kind of experiences are you going to supplement that with to get you to the end road? And I think wherever you are, that's the answer. In terms of the College of Social Behavioral Sciences, one major, actually two majors that I really want to highlight are managerial economics and resource economics. These are two applied business majors. They're both Bachelor of Science. And they're really setting you up to be able to do data analytics in a business setting. And resource economics has a little bit more of a focus on environmental and in working in the business sector of natural resources and renewable energy. But I think that if you have an interest in economics and you're also thinking business, it's a great way to start. And I'm also going to highlight just the exploratory track programs across campus. We have one in SBS, but a lot of the other schools and colleges have them too. If you have a vague idea of what you want to do, but you're really thinking like, I want to spend my first couple of semesters trying out some classes, you can do that. I have students all the time that are trying an economics class, trying a hospitality tourism management class. Maybe they're trying a history or an English over in the College of Humanities and Fine Arts. And then what your goal is then in the beginning of your third semester to declare a major. And I think you've already echoed that, that is okay. It is okay in your application to say, listen, I've got these interests, but I want a little bit of time to take some classes and test that out. We know that's normal. We also know it's really normal that people that come in and change their majors once they're here. So I think we really respect the path of, I'm not sure, and I want to try out one of these programs that are going to let me pick and choose a little bit. And I think one thing that's really important to note, even though I think Nancy said it already, is that you can explore those different colleges. So just because you start in one doesn't mean you can't take classes in others. And you're never going to make an advisor feel bad by telling them you want to take different classes. None of us are personally invested in getting you into certain classes on campus. So if you say to me as a College of Social Behavioral person, I want to take a class in HFA or the Humanities and Fine Arts, I'm going to say, great, let's talk about what you're interested in, right? Because our goal is to get you to the home where you're going to be successful and happy, right? And our goal is not to retain you in one box. So, and I think I speak for all of us when I say that. We want you to be someplace where you're going to be successful.
I totally echo what Kelly just said. And I just want to say, going into the exploratory track, I can't tell you how many exploratory track students in our college we've helped apply for hospitality and tourism management, sports management. Exactly. I mean, we work very closely to get our students to do the right preparatory courses to be best prepared to apply. For my college, Humanities and fine arts, I'm going to give a shout out to our foreign language majors and minors. If you want to be a global hospitality and tourism management person, maybe it's Asia, okay, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, perhaps even in our country, Spanish is so helpful and really puts you in the foreground of people who are hired for multiple skills. So I do absolutely, I mean, the 21st century is a global century. What's happening now in the world is making that evident to us. So I'm just going to reel off some of the languages you can study here at UMass, and most of them are in my college, so I'm going to leave somebody out, my apologies. So Chinese, Japanese, Korean, let's go to Europe, so it's Russian, Polish, German, Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Arabic, Hebrew, and there's some ancient languages you can study as well. But if you're wanting to go into the global business world, I strongly to encourage you to acquire another language. Hugely helpful.
Any final questions for our panelists? Well, I want to thank everyone so much for your time and knowledge and expertise. I hope that you found this as formative as I did. I'm, again, just so excited that you're here and exploring UMass Amherst. Please definitely consider this the start of a conversation. You're going to get your phones out and take a picture of something. This is the one to take a picture of. This is the contact information for the enrollment office, as well as if you'd like to get in touch with our student tour guides. And we are real people. We are happy to answer questions, and also very happy to field questions to our immense amount of knowledge and talent here on campus if I don't have that specific answer for you. But again, I'm just very excited that you're here and considering UMass and really learning about the depth of resources and opportunities that are here. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.